All right. Good evening and welcome to Called Into Questions, the only trivia game show with difficult questions during a difficult time. My name is Chris King, and I am joined with us today with some Columbia friends of mine who are collectively known as Team Sockmonkey. So if I could have the members of Team Sockmonkey go around and introduce yourselves.
I'm Timothy.
I'm Kevin.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
I was done. I'm Kevin, and
Teamwork is already breaking down. I'm David.
And I'm Angie.
And I think Aaron also introduced himself at the same time as Kevin, but those are the five. These are the five members of Team Sockmonkey here. They are regulars at my Wednesday night haunt, the British Bulldog Pub in Columbia, South Carolina, which has sadly been on a hiatus since the breakout of COVID-19. From my understanding, like I said before we started recording, is that this is the first time they have seen each other since the trivia night has ended. And so it's very exciting to bring everyone here for a over Zoom trivia night for all of us today. And like I said, this is a very good collective team, frequent winners at Bulldog, and we are here to see how it all shakes down. The way our game works is we will be asking each team has 15 questions written. There are 3 rounds of 5 questions each. The first round is a medium difficulty. The second round is a hard difficulty. And round 3 is a crazy hard difficulty. And we're going to be having a good time answering questions and seeing what the other team knows. And besides that, we also have a specialty subject that each team has chosen. If Team Sockmonkey, if you would tell everyone what your category is.
Henry VIII.
That is right. It is the former ruler of the United Kingdom, Henry VIII, have been chosen. And I, because many of the people have a strong connection to Newberry College here in South Carolina, I have chosen the Colleges of South Carolina, which is as a previous attendee of one of them and a certain lover of the state of South Carolina, I hopefully see if I have the knowledge that other colleges and universities, including Newberry, I don't know if there's any home cooking on any of the questions you have written, but certainly, like I said, we're going to have a fun time asking each other the questions we have here tonight, and we'll just see how it is. We are not competing against each other. I will be keeping score throughout tonight's game, but it's just to see whether or not you scored more points than either of us. Would you have scored more points against Team Sockmonkey, or would you have scored more against me? Or maybe both of us could put all of us to shame. That is all exciting for you, and you can just play along while you're doing it. Like I said, put it up, play it on the Fire Stick, play it on 1.5 speed on YouTube, have a good time. There's very little pressure here. There's no editing. There's no rules. It's just right. It's just like the Outback Steakhouse. But that being said, is everyone ready to get this game underway?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let us go ahead, and I will read out the first 5 questions for Team Sockmonkey. And so y'all just hold on, and everyone that's playing at home, just hear. I'll read them out. I'll read them out one at a time, and then we'll go back over all the questions, and y'all can go over the answers. So here we go. Very best of luck. Number 1 in round 1 is settled by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. The court case Mattel Inc. versus MCA Records Inc. was a lawsuit regarding what 1997 song? Number 2, located in the San Fernando Valley, what Los Angeles neighborhood is on the site of a former ranch owned by Edgar Rice Burroughs? Number 3, Jean Lenoir playing waiter and Roy Butler playing bartender are one half of the IMDb acting credits for what 1981 film? Number 4, what's the usual requirement for participants performing the figure 8 dance known as the waggle dance? And number 5, what is notable about a June 29th, 1613 production of the play Henry VIII? And so those are the first 5 questions of round 1. So if you are playing, you can pause it here while you have a little bit more of a think. But why don't we go ahead and start back from the beginning? So number 1 in round 1, settled by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, the court case Mattel Inc. versus MCA Records Inc. was a lawsuit regarding what 1997 song?
Barbie girl. Do y'all know this? I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Do you remember that song?
I do.
Regretfully, yes.
I remember that it was my college years. I can't remember if it was specifically 97 or not, but that's got to be it. I mean, they just wantonly used the image of Barbie throughout the song. So
Is Barbie a Mattel product?
Definitely.
yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
And that is certainly right. Made of plastic and fantastic. The song is Barbie Girl by the Scandinavian band Aqua is the band there, and exactly right. And it was I actually didn't look up. Basically, the song was allowed to exist. I don't really. The song had already existed at that point. It's hard to delete music from history, but yeah, it was Barbie Girl by Aqua, and I'm not sure they've ever gotten around to using the song in commercials or anything. But Barbie Girl is that song. Number 2 is located in the San Fernando Valley. What Los Angeles neighborhood is on the site of a former ranch owned by Edgar Rice Burroughs?
Timothy.
I'm a Northern Californian, not a Southern Californian.
Oh, Aaron, you live in California.
I haven't lived here for a year yet.
So, okay, team. Edgar
I
Rice.
want to say that I made sure I added this question because I knew at least 2 members of the team had direct California connections. So I thought it was a fair geography question.
If I could call my mother, she used to live in San Fernando Valley.
Okay, so Edgar Rice Burroughs invented Tarzan. So is there a neighborhood in the San Fernando Valley that references Tarzan in some way?
Starts with a T.
Tarzan.
Ooh.
Yes, Tarzan starts with a T, and I think so does the community.
Okay. Tarzania.
You're not far off, I don't think.
Tarzania.
The La Brea Tarzan pits.
No.
Okay.
Never thought of it as being part of the Tarzan. Oh.
This is riveting entertainment.
That's right.
Entertainment. Ooh, a fan.
I think we're all blanking, so you just want to take a shot in the dark with it?
What can we get a hint?
I'll give hints after you give an answer. That's the yeah.
Gotcha. David, your Tarzania is not far off. I mean, that's the whole thing. And that's what's throwing me at the moment.
Well, maybe it's pronounced Tarzania.
Is that your guess?
Sure. We say
Do it.
Tarzania.
Tarzania. Let's see. As you correctly suspected, Edgar Rice Burroughs, the famous author, was the one that had a ranch there. And the name of the neighborhood is Tarzana, Tarzana. It is, but no, I will give Tarzania, which is a loose pronunciation, but definitely still right. You get credit for that. So that is very,
Oh, you're generous.
so yeah, so there you go. But yeah, Tarzan. I knew you were in Northern California, and I say it's one of the LA neighborhoods, but it is named after the most famous creation of the ranch owner Edgar Rice Burroughs. In fact, Tarzan with an A is exactly the right answer. Very well stumbled guess there. That was what I wanted to hear. Number 3 is Jean Lenoir playing waiter and Roy Butler playing bartender are one half of the IMDb acting credits For what 1981 film?
Me, I know.
Go for it.
It's certainly, I mean, I'm not certain, but I figure it must be My Dinner with Andre, which is a movie that's two guys sitting at a table in a restaurant. There's half the cast, and then the waiter and the bartender would be the other half. And
I like
1981, 1981
I like it.
is the right time.
Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Do it.
All right,
And
that's our answer.
And that is extremely well reasoned. That film is My Dinner with Andre, and it is Andre Gregory and Wallace Shawn, Mr. Inconceivable, are the two main actors of the film who talked for 2 hours about everything. And I actually saw it last week, and I thought it was a very good, a very fine film there. But yep, My Dinner with Andre is exactly right. Very well done. And let's say the other two credits, the main waiter, he had like a couple more acting credits. I think Roy Butler had like one production thing, one on IMDb. It was basically they were just two people that were the rest of the cast. But it's certainly 2 hours on Wallace Shawn and Andre Gregory. Very well done. 3 for 3 there. This is keep the streak alive. Number 4 is, what's the usual requirement for participants performing the figure 8 dance known as the waggle dance? And that is waggle, W-A-G-G-L-E.
So I'm guessing completely. Is it a dance that you basically have to be a toddler for? Like an age group? Throwing that out there, people.
I'm kind of stumped on what a figure 8 dance is. Like,
Yeah, too.
I think of ice skating, so I'm still trying to figure out if this is a subgenre of some sort.
Like it's in the actual sport of ice dancing, are you suggesting?
I'm wondering. I have no idea. Like, so the way it was phrased,
Oh.
the figure 8 dance of the woggle, like that's what's stumping me right now.
Requirement for participants. That is an oddly phrased question.
Yes.
Yes.
If it had a connection with what Kevin said, then the requirement would be that they have on ice skates. But
Chris, you were about to say something. Perhaps a hint.
yes,
I'll say that participants is the performers of the waggle dance are the participants of it. Yes, I think I will say that. That is
So
Aaron, you were the dancer.
I have nothing to offer.
so they have to wear ice skates, or they have to be toddlers, or radically different sorts of answers.
I like ice skates more than toddlers.
I do too.
but let's talk a minute about how Timothy got to the toddlers. Is the show Woggles?
it is.
No,
Is
it's,
The dance is the waggle dance. W-A-G-G-L-E. I was making sure the name.
Right, but I'm trying to figure out why Timothy got to toddlers.
So I got there based upon some of the shows the kids used to watch when they were little. And that some of those involved dances that clearly were for moms, dads, and their little ones. But really designed for the toddler to be out moving and learning certain, not dance moves, but certainly developing their motor skills a little bit. And so in my head somewhere there is a waggle dance, but that may have nothing to, waggle dance doesn't sound right for something as uppity as ice skating. On the other hand, toddlers, that just seems kind of strange, but that's what popped in my head, and I can be completely wrong.
Yeah, waggle sounds more like a kid's dance than it does anything, like you say, formal, like ice skating. So, waggle.
Don't let me talk you into this.
All right. So I don't know who's. I'm not sure who's the captain here. What is the guess y'all want to give?
Ooh, we're being called out on time.
I think
I'm struggling with toddler just because of figure 8, which seems like a complicated thing.
for a toddler.
But I don't know what a figure 8 dance is.
Yeah, me either.
Unless it's a toddler running in the shape of an 8.
Somebody has to say something.
Go ahead, Timothy.
We'll go with the toddler.
All right, so going with toddlers dancing. It is not toddlers dancing. And if you would have said figure skating, that also would not have been correct. It has nothing to do with figure skating. That is not it. I'll give you a hint here. This dance is performed in the knowledge of the direction of the sun is important to performing the waggle dance.
Native Americans.
It is not Native Americans. Also, directions of where
It's bees.
it is.
Honeybees.
It is
Or
honeybees. The waggle dance is the dance done by honeybees that display to other people, other participants, aka the bees of the hive, where the flower and pollen is. And it is a figure 8 dance in the sense that it is basically bees doing a certain, and I think from my understanding, it's the middle part, like they do this, wiggle, come around, wiggle again, and do that little number. And that shows where the pollen is. But that is called the waggle dance. And so you probably are a bee if you're performing it. So no, you stayed human for so long, and unfortunately it was an insect question. But there you go.
Dad,
But that is fine as we go into number 5.
We did or did not get credit?
You did not get credit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give half credits for good reasoning, and but that was but first,
Okay.
first guess there. And number 5 is, what is notable about a June 29th, 1613 production of the play Henry VIII?
Do you think the Queen was in attendance?
I have a guess.
Okay.
I think June 29th is Henry's birthday.
Oh.
Okay. When was he born?
That's my only guess.
What year was he born?
1491.
Okay. So was this the performance during which the theater burned down? There's a famous performance.
The Globe Theater burns down in 1660 in the London fire.
Okay, no, but there's a this is different. This is a different burning.
Same theater?
Yeah, the thatched roofing caught on fire because they had real cannons on stage or something, and they were stupid pyrotechnics, and they caught the theater on fire. I don't know what. I mean, it was one of the histories that this was during, one of the historical plays.
I don't recall the story, so.
Okay, that's what I got.
I like it.
I buy it.
Yeah, I do too.
On fire.
Tour a lot.
The theater.
All right.
Is that what we're going to go with?
All right, we're going with it.
Why don't we do this? The theater caught on fire on Henry's birthday.
Ooh, okay.
So I will say that I did not know the birth date of Henry VIII. It is June 28th, according to Wikipedia.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, days are 48. No one kept time back then. But you are correct. It is the history play. It is Shakespeare's Henry VIII that the Globe Theater burned down due to cannons being shot in the theater, and they would eventually. I believe there was another royal theater that served for the rest of. Shakespeare died in 1616, only a couple of years after this, and of course, the current Globe, which is a reproduction of the original. But is it when the Globe Theater burned down? A good question is, what did Elizabeth think of the play, the one based on her father? She did not, actually. She had.
She was dead before then.
Right. She died in 1603. This was one of Shakespeare's last plays, and so Elizabeth did not see a history play about her direct father, so there was no. And then I'm not sure if James ever came by to knock on the door and see how Shakespeare, how Henry VIII plays were going. But that is in fact the production where it all burned down, and so very well done. So on round number 1, y'all start out very strong with 4 right. So there you go.
Fist bump team.
That is right. And so a very, very good start here. So that being said, why don't we go ahead and start with my set?
So David, you've got the list of order. I forgot to write it down. So
Just alphabetical order. We'll just go alphabetical order by first name.
Okay.
okay.
All right, so Aaron goes first.
I'm first.
Yep.
All right, Chris. You ready?
Yep.
At his 2019 swearing-in ceremony, newly elected President Kassam-Jomart Tokayev announced that the name of this country's capital would be changed to Nur Sultan in honor of the country's first president. What is this Asian country?
Oh, and now I go with one. Okay. The son of 2 Japanese literature instructors, this author learned to speak English during his high school years by reading American pulp mystery paperbacks from a secondhand bookstore, an experience that he referenced in the title of his novel, Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World. Who is this writer?
Question number 3. This is your first Universities and Colleges of South Carolina question. And the question is, what branch of the University of South Carolina is located in Allendale?
And what is the world's southernmost national capital?
And question number 5. Question number 5 is, this gentleman of Elizabeth I's court, made famous for tossing his cloak over a puddle, later lost his head under James I for failing to find El Dorado. Who was he?
All right, so those are the first 5 questions. If you were thinking about them, take a pause right here, but let's go ahead and start from the top. So if y'all are reading about number 1 again.
Sure. So number 1, at his 2019 swearing-in ceremony, newly elected President Kassam-Jomart Tokayev announced that the name of this country's capital would be changed to Nur Sultan in honor of the country's first president. What is this Asian country?
This is a solid geography question. I think the best 2-word description for it is very nice. I think is a good way to put this question. And I believe Nur Sultan, I did not have the name of the president. I've seen this thing, but I believe he took the previous capital of Astana and renamed it Nur Sultan, and this would be Kazakhstan is the country.
Correct. Yes.
Right. And yes, a country who has now cemented one pop culture moment, which is all very. I'm sure the country loves it. I think I've read they're kind of on the fence about. I mean, they were very angry at the time, which is fair. But I think they kind of like, oh yeah, that exists. Yeah, we're not that, but it's unfortunate when there's not a lot of Western, not a lot of Western, Western connection to Kazakhstan. But there you go. That is a very nice question. So I will take the geo knowledge there.
All right, number 2. The son of 2 Japanese literature instructors, this author learned to speak English during his high school years by reading American pulp mystery paperbacks from a secondhand bookstore, an experience that he referenced in the title of his novel, Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World. Who is this writer?
All right. So this person learned English, so I have to assume I assume English has become a second language than their first language. I guess you could learn English by reading books as an English speaker, but I assume you learn a second language. So the 2 Japanese authors I have in mind, the first one is Kazuo Ishiguro, who wrote Remains of the Day and won the Nobel Prize in Lit back a couple years, I guess 2 years ago, 2018, and then 2019, 2020 were both announced very recently. And the other author is Haruki Murakami of many illustrious books, including Wind Up Bird Chronicle, Kafka on the Shore, and Norwegian Wood. I know Murakami has a huge love of the English language. He loves, I think Huck Finn's his favorite novel. I think he's read, and I know there's a lot of Americanisms in Murakami novels. Ishiguro, I think he's more classic than Murakami is. Weirdly enough, the pop Japanese novelist of the last 30 years and a perennial favorite to ever win. I think I read that when Ishiguro received it, that was the Nobel Committee saying, Murakami, you're never going to win our lifetime. It's, I think, and I swear Murakami's novel, I don't know the name of this, I don't really know this book, but certainly Murakami's novel titles have fun, long, nonsense names like that. They're not just, like names of movies, they're all like, they're kind of these, put lots of words together at the same time. And so on that, and I know, but Murakami writes in Japanese and it's translated in English. Ishiguro is a British author. He writes in English. I'm going to say this is Haruki Murakami is my guess.
Excellent reasoning. Perfect.
That is great. I've read Kafka on the Shore and Norwegian Wood, and I read the first fourth of Wind Up Bird, and maybe this would be a good experience over the quarantine here to re-pick up the cat chase and see how it all plays out. But no.
Well, no, since you have so much time on your hands, 1Q84 is really what you should read.
That's the one. That one looks intimidating because it's big. It's one of them big books with
it was great.
A lot of words in it.
My favorite bit of trivia about 1Q84 is that when it was published in Japanese, the American publisher was in such a hurry to get it released into the English language market that they hired two translators, and one translator translated the first half and the other translator did the second half.
So that's why I know it's 2 parts. I think I knew it was 2 parts, but I didn't know that they were translated by different people. That's very funny. That's very good.
Yep.
Yes, Murakami, fantastic.
All right, question 3. What branch of the University of South Carolina is located in Allendale?
And good, big fan of the University of South Carolina system. I believe the one in Allendale, there's 2 university, I guess there's 3. No, there's 2. There's 2 USC system schools that are not named after the city that they're in. One is USC Upstate, which is in Spartanburg, and the other is USC Salkehatchie, which is where I believe in Allendale. I believe this is Salkehatchie is the school there. Woo! Fantastic.
All right, 3 for 3.
And they are the Indians, I believe. I had to, I host a trivia night at the Honors Residence Hall at USC once a semester. I've done that for about 9 years or so. Back when I was a student, and it's like certainly one of USC's longest traditions. I fully believe that. And I actually got in this semester too. That was in February, so I got to make sure the spring 2020 kept the streak alive. And I always have a single satellite school USC trivia. There's always like a USC trivia round. And one question's always USC satellite school trivia, which turns out plays ultra hard for students that are often A, out of state, and B, barely know anything about South Carolina, much less the non-Gamecock schools of USC. So that is, the Salkehatchie. There you go. That is, I've been wanting to do like a USC road trip and go actually visit the other. I've never really seen Buford's campus, never seen like Upstate's campus. Be cool, just pop in and see what Salkehatchie's doing. That'd be very fun. But I will take my Salkehatchie knowledge there. All right, good deal. That's exciting.
All right, next one. This city is the world's southernmost national capital.
I believe the northernmost is Reykjavik in Iceland, and I think the southernmost Make sure. Yeah, the southernmost would be the city of Wellington in New Zealand.
Correct, sir.
Yeah, that is great. Named after the Duke of, which I believe is the.
Duke of Wellington.
That is
Yep.
right.
All right, last question. This gentleman of Elizabeth I's court, made famous for tossing his cloak over a puddle, later lost his head under James I for failing to find El Dorado. Who was he?
Man, see, this is the one I've been. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I only have one answer. I've been trying to come up with a second answer, and I haven't found it. And maybe the first answer is right. Like, the only name I have.
Could be.
You're right, exactly. I mean, that could very well be right. You know, I don't know this. Like, I know this man got the chopping block for under, Elizabethan era leaders, and I didn't know it was for not finding. I thought it was just a bunch of. This guy was in every pot. I only have one guess, and my guess is Sir Walter Raleigh. I don't have another answer. I'm going to say Sir Walter Raleigh.
You are correct, sir. 5 for 5.
Ooh, that's good. I didn't know that is exactly.
Secretly, I was hoping you'd mess up and say Sir Walter Scott.
No, those are different people.
Just getting your names messed up.
That's right. One wrote Ivanhoe, the other one is the North Carolina's state capital. And
very good. Yep.
A good fact is that Raleigh, North Carolina, is one of two state capitals named after a head cut off, figure. The other is St. Paul, Minnesota, is the other got the chopping block, which is two executed state capital namesakes. But there we go. So, all right, well, starting out strong here. Sockmonkey has 4 points on the board. Only the waggle dance escaped y'all, and I have so far ran the board, but I am sure there is difficulty up ahead, I am sure. So let us go ahead and get into round number 2. So here we go. I will read out the 5 questions for y'all. Number 1 in round 2 is, in 1919, Sir Barton, himself the child of Lady Stirling, became the first winner of what major sporting accomplishment? Number 2 is, what is the surname of British restaurateur Lisa, who appeared on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and also has a namesake Bravo reality show following her and her staff at the West Hollywood restaurant Sir, and that's S-U-R, which I know is certainly a pet subject of y'all is reality television, so I'm sure y'all are going to get that one immediately. Number 3 is Edmund Winston Pettus, a Confederate senior officer, a U.S. senator, and a Grand Dragon of the KKK, died in 1907 and is buried in what southern city? Number 4, what dish translates from Korean as fire meat? And number 5 is our Henry VIII question. I think it should not shock anyone that a Henry VIII quiz must simply have a question about the people he married. So I am going to give descriptions for 5 of the 6 wives of Henry VIII. And you need to tell me the wife that is not described by these descriptions. So I will read out 5 descriptions. They are for 5 of the 6 wives. You must tell me which one has been excluded. You have about a 17% chance of guessing it right blindly. So that is the sheer odds of it. So here are the 5 descriptions. Was born in modern-day Germany. Is buried next to him. Wrote the book Prayers or Meditations. The daughter of Joyce Culpeper. And rumored to have 6 fingers on one hand. So those are the 5 questions here. So if you want to take another moment to think about it, you can do that now. But we will start back up at the top. Number one is in 1919, Sir Barton himself, the child of Lady Stirling, became the first winner of what major sporting accomplishment?
Is this Sterling Cup hockey? Anybody?
It is.
Okay.
That's hockey.
So
Wait, what? What faction of hockey?
Isn't it?
Stanley Cup is NHL.
Oh, Stanley Cup. Oh, you're right.
Okay.
It's one.
I'm trying.
It's one person, so it's not a team event.
Correct.
Right.
Is it? Do we know that this is a person, or could this be a horse?
Could be a horse.
what makes you think that?
Well,
Sir Barton.
it's not a complete name. We've not been given a complete name.
Wait.
He said he was the son of Lady who?
Sterling.
What do you mean the complete name?
It was Sir Barton, the child of Lady Stirling.
Right. Like we don't have a first name, last name. It sounds like it could be a horse's
Like it's
name.
Oh.
I don't.
So if it were a horse, what would you want to pick? Like, I don't know when any horse race started.
I don't know the history of horse racing very well.
I don't either.
Derby.
So when was the first Kentucky Derby?
Yeah.
See, I think that's what we should pick if we do go this route, because I think the trick of the question is just that it's a horse. What the famous one. Seems like the safe bet.
Timothy. How old's it?
Kentucky Derby is in the 1870s, if I remember correctly. So,
Okay.
Okay.
My second choice would.
and the question clearly says at the end is the first winner,
Yes.
right?
Of something athletic?
How does?
A scoring accomplishment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Triple Crown, the first horse to get all three races to win the Triple Crown. But he did say one sporting event, so that does imply that it was just one.
But
Yeah.
Go ahead, Angie.
I'm not sure of the wording. Chris, can we ask for the wording again?
I'll read it all again. In 1919, Sir Barton, himself the child of Lady Stirling, became the first winner of what major sporting accomplishment?
Accomplishment. Okay.
So
Of which Triple Crown would make sense.
yes, Triple Crown isn't accomplished. Accomplishment is an odd word if it's not something like the Triple Crown.
So that is your guess. Sir Barton was born in 1916, died in 1937, and he was a chestnut thoroughbred racer and the first winner of the American Triple Crown. He won the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont. Those are the three races he won. And he is the child of the British stallion Star Shoot and the mare Lady Stirling. And it is the Sir Barton is the horse's name. And just the most recent winner of that accomplishment, but it is the Triple Crown. Very well done. An accomplishment because it was like not the name of it's a different thing. So. And but very well reasoned. It wasn't. Is the full name of the horse was Sir Barton, but and also the mother's name also very noble title sounding as well. So that worked out nicely. Star Shoot sounded very horse name, so I did not include Star Shoot in the question. Number two is what is the surname of the British restaurateur Lisa, who appeared on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and also is a namesake Bravo reality show, following her and her staff at the West Hollywood restaurant Sir, S-U-R. It's now the restaurant.
Kevin.
I got nothing. I haven't had cable in over 10 years.
Clueless.
Yeah, and this is, I'm going to let you know, this isn't exactly one that you can just guess. You're going to have to know some things about current reality TV to get this right. I'll give you two hints here. The first one may not even help at all. The first one is that Chrissy Teigen is a very huge fan of the reality show in question, which is like one of her things she likes to talk about. The second thing is her surname begins with a V. Does that help? If I spot you the first letter of V, Does it help? It may not. It simply may not help you out here, and this might stump the crowd.
Lisa.
Buh.
Van Dyke.
That's closer than anything else so far, but it's yeah. You are not going to guess it if I gave you you would have to know this name because it's not a name I've seen or heard anywhere else. But her surname, I'll go ahead and tell y'all unless y'all want to keep guessing.
Go for it.
The names. The name is Vanderpump. And the name of the TV show is The Vanderpump Rules is the name of the show. Yes. VANDERPUMP Vanderpump. And I was this was certainly the name of the show. That is the current name of the show on Bravo. From my understanding, a very well-liked show for those that watch it, but it's the Vanderpump Rules. So there you go. I figured that'd be a tough TV question, but we had a My Dinner with Andre question in the last round, so I thought we could balance it. There's always a balance in everything. Number 3 is Edmund Winston Pettus, a Confederate senior officer, a U.S. senator, and a Grand Dragon of the KKK. Died in 1907 and is buried in what southern city?
Selma, Alabama.
And Selma, Alabama is the city there.
Guys, that's where the Edmund Pettus Bridge is. That was the site of Bloody Sunday.
Okay.
That is exactly Edmund Pettus, a vehement racist on his own. Like I said, it's a good combo to be both a Confederate officer and a Grand Dragon of the Klan. There's not many more ways you can prove racism than fitting both of those check marks. But he is the namesake of the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, where famously the bridge was crossed. So it was so even though I do think it was a nice a nice moment in that where a huge racist of its time has his name is associated with one of the most empowering moments of the civil rights era altogether. So that's a very a weird suck it moment for General Pettus there. So that is but no, Selma, Alabama is the exact right answer. Very well done. Number 4 is what dish translates from the Korean as fire meat?
I only know kimchi, and I don't think it's kimchi.
Aaron, you eat strange food. Come on. No? I have no guess.
Nothing.
As soon as I miss this, I bet Michelle's gonna tell me the last time that I ate it.
Bibigogi, something like that. Say again.
Like bulgogi?
Bulgogi. I mean,
Meat.
when I've had it, it's been fairly mild, but maybe it's been fairly mild for middle of nowhere American tastes. And actually, I usually add kimchi to it in order to make it better. But that's the only product I know, or the dish I know. Bimgogi, something like that.
I don't even know how to say this dish, but bibimbap is it Korean? I don't even remember.
Yes.
I think Michelle's running away now because she's going to give it away. She's gone.
I think
because that's more of a dish than bulgogi itself. No.
So Aaron.
Yeah.
So if Michelle is there in the apartment with you, that makes her an honorary member of the team.
Michelle. You know the answer? She says she can't tell me.
What an honor system. That's fantastic.
I think she's learned it from Learned League. Is that when trivia is happening, it's no input whatsoever, and so the lesson carries over.
I like Aaron's answer.
I mean, bibimbap is more of a. I mean, bulgogi is usually just a type of. It's beef, isn't it? That's in the dishes.
Yeah.
That's on the dish itself.
Yeah, and bimgogi or however you say it is a beef product.
Right.
But I like your answer.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I guess we'll go with bibimbap then.
So you're going bibimbap. So certainly a Korean dish here. Bibimbap translates to mixed rice, as it is a rice dish more than it is a meat dish here. But the dish that would translate to fire meat is certainly more on the Korean barbecue side of foods. And you don't take a second crack at, you might get it. Take a second shot at guessing this answer. If you couldn't say, knowing that bibimbap is not right, what would you guess for a second guess?
Is it bulgogi then?
It is bulgogi, yes.
Sorry, my bad, Timothy.
Yep, that is it there. Bulgogi is the dish that translates as fire meat.
Bum, 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 bum,
That's right. Very, very close there. But no, fire meat is bulgogi. And that was exactly you. Very well reasoned, but yeah, bibimbap is more rice, and bulgogi is more that. What is the Japanese word for fire bowl? Who knows this?
Japanese word or Korean?
Japanese.
Kung Pao.
Nope.
Hibachi.
Hibachi is right. Exactly. Hibachi is the Japanese word for fireball. But very well done. But no, half credit on that. Lots of good knowledge being displayed, but went the wrong way at the final end there. Just how it goes. And number 5 is our Henry VIII question. So I gave 5 descriptions of the wives of Henry VIII. You had to name which one is not listed. The five descriptors was born in modern day Germany, is buried next to him, wrote the book Prayers or Meditations, the daughter of Joyce Culpeper, and is rumored to have 6 fingers on one hand. So which wife am I missing? If you wanted to tell me who is
Catherine of Aragon.
So what is your reasoning behind that?
Anne Boleyn, the tradition is she has 6 fingers, which isn't true. Catherine Parr is the writer. Jane Seymour is buried next to him. Anne of Cleves is from Germany, modern day Germany. And I think Catherine Howard is the daughter of Jane Culpeper, possibly. But Catherine of Aragon is the one you did not mention.
And that is all very, very well reasoned out there. The first wife of Henry VIII is the one not described there. And it was exactly the other 5 descriptors there are right. Cleves is more of the Holy Roman Empire and now is basically in Germany. Jane Seymour is the one that is buried next to him. Catherine Parr published Prayers and Meditations. It was one of the first instances of a woman in England publishing under her own name. And so, I mean, she had a pretty well connection to everything else, but certainly one of the first instances there. Joyce Culpeper is the surname of Thomas Culpeper, who is the person that Catherine Howard may have had a thing with and that got her on the chopping block. And Anne Boleyn, rumored to have 6 fingers on one hand, but again, that is probably, I think from a painting or so, that was the descriptor of why people thought that she might have.
Yeah, I think, the painting. What threw me was the Jane Culpeper one. And that's only because I knew that Catherine Howard had the affair with Thomas Culpeper.
Right, and exactly. Like Joyce Culpeper is not historically no, but it was they are all somehow related. The Thomas Culpeper, Thomas Culpeper is related to Joyce Culpeper, but it's not like mother son type deal. But yeah, that is
one never knows.
Exactly. Thomas Culpeper had an affair with the daughter of Joyce Culpeper. So that is the Culpeper word was the key word there, but that is not direct connection. But very well reasoned. Catherine of Aragon, the number 1 wife. So very well done. Full marks on that. So after round 2, y'all rack up 3.5 points there. Very well done. So there you go. And that is a good half point. You had, as I couldn't give you the full credit on bulgogi, but certainly the half knowledge is certainly displayed there. And then Vanderpump missed y'all completely, which I thought might be the case. That's why I was, when I asked before if Aaron, you were going to bring the youth knowledge, not saying, I knew this crowd did not have Bravo reality TV on their arsenal. So I figured
I wanted to preface that early.
No, yes. And that is, but no, well done, 3.5. Very good job. And so now let us move into the second half of this round 2.
All right.
More capitals and Murakami questions would be great. That's what I'm talking about. So.
All right. In the United States, over 3 billion pieces of this candy are consumed every year. It was first marketed by Edward Haas III in Vienna in 1927 and derives its name from the German word for peppermint. What is this candy?
Oh, I keep forgetting I'm supposed to go ahead and read. Okay. Number 2, Steve Burns in the role of Steve, and later Donovan Patton in the role of Joe, were the first 2 hosts of Blue's Clues, a Nickelodeon television series for preschoolers that ran from 1996 to 2006. What is the name of the actor and character for the 2019 reboot of the show entitled Blue's Clues and You?
Question number 3. Put a clock in your butt. Put a big rock in your butt. This memorable couplet is one of many similar lyrics featured in the hip-hop song Boogie in Your Butt, which peaked at number 56 on the Billboard R&B chart in 1982. Name the performer of this song who would go on to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1996.
All right. What module attached to the Cassini space probe separated on Christmas of 2004 and successfully parachuted to the surface of Titan? Timothy.
What South Carolina school was founded in 1869 by missionaries seeking to help freed slaves find a quality education?
All right, so those are the 5 questions of this part of round 2. Take a pause if you want to think about it a little bit more. We'll start back up at the top. So here we go. Number 1.
All right, number 1. In the United States, over 3 billion pieces of this candy are consumed every year. It was first marketed by Edward Haas III in Vienna in 1927 and derives its name from the German word for peppermint. What is this candy?
So I didn't know. The only real hook I have here is the German word for peppermint. I don't really know about the Vienna beginnings, or the 3 billion seems like a lot. That's a lot of candy, no matter how you slice it. That's about 10 pieces of this candy for every single person, which is a lot. I think that the German for peppermint, I believe, is the etymology of Pez. So I'm gonna guess Pez is my candy here.
Correct. Very good.
That is that is I've received a couple of, like, because they're nice people, you can buy a Pez dispenser and they're very cute and fun, and I don't really know what Pez tastes like. I think it's hard candy for hard candy's sake. I mean, I just imagine it's what, like a Smartie or a Sweet Tart would taste like, essentially.
Even worse. It's mostly about the dispensers.
Right, no, yeah.
That's
It's
the
like,
only hook. Yeah.
yeah. But I've always kind of they're basically Smarties in a little collectible item. And
I think they're blander than both.
Yeah. They're really
Smart.
chalky, kind of.
yeah, it's really just to fill the container itself, not even for like you're not selling for the good, you're selling for specifically the plastic part of it.
Exactly.
So.
All right, number 2. Steve Burns in the role of Steve, and later Donovan Patton in the role of Joe, were the first 2 hosts of Blue's Clues, a Nickelodeon television series for preschoolers that ran from 1996 to 2006. What is the name of the actor and character for the 2019 reboot of the show entitled Blue's Clues and You?
This is trash. I'm mad. There's not much Blue's Clues trivia you can get past me. I swear, God, this is not fun. And I remember there's, the show's back on. Steve is playing the role of a detective of his own detective agency. And I believe Joe is playing a photographer, some kind of like it has like a studio of some kind. And there's the new guy, very young looking guy too. And Man, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I was like, you said Steve and Joe. I was like, it's gonna be a Blue's Clues question. Like, what's the? And then turns out I was like, oh god, they're gonna name the third person. So now I have to remember the current name of the guy that does Blue's Clues, and I have not, unfortunately.
Character name.
Right, no, yes. Joe is Joe's name. Whatever you want to say. The name of that guy is Joe. I knew it was Donovan too. I knew his real name was Donovan, but Joe's is Blue's Clues name, obviously. So I have to know the current name of the Blue's Clues guy. And this is I don't really like, if I get this, it will be a miracle because I really don't have any strong lead here. And I don't know why I had Elliot. I don't know why Elliot. I don't really like that. I want it to be a one-syllable name. I want it to fit Steve and Joe. I want it to be a one-syllable male name as akin to Steve and Joe. And I don't know. And I there's Matt. I mean, there's like biblically, Matt, Mark, Luke, things like that, But I have no reason to favor any one of them over another one. I don't know why I had Elliot on the mind. It's just a name of certainly a person that could be. And I could just start making stabs at names, but I don't have it. I am going to guess Elliot as the name of the current Blue's Clues host, but I truly do not know. Elliot is my guess.
Oh, I'm not sure why Elliot was in your head. The actor is Joshua De La Cruz, and he plays the role of Josh.
Of course, I mean, exactly, Josh, exactly. But I had no lead there. But I can certainly name you 25 Blue's Clues characters that aren't the humans, and it's disappointing. Josh. This is that is.
Can you sing the male song?
Yeah, I mean, okay. So the male,
Here's
the mail. When it comes, it makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I never felt it. Well, mail, yeah. I don't know all that. It's garbage. I'm mad. This is a good tangential Blue's Clues fact. Steve, who is Steve Burns, he is a musician on his own. He is since following Blue's Clues, he's been like a more of like a very indie musician. But him and his band recorded the theme song to Young Sheldon, the CBS show. But no, so the theme song to Young Sheldon is written by Steve of Blue's Clues, which is a very good fact that I like to share when I can, because it's and it was but yeah, that was and I remember one time I was in high school, our teacher put on an episode of Homicide Life on the Streets, and Steve Burns was an actor on the show. He was arrested for something or whatever it was, and it was funny to see me and all of my classmates realize at the same time, that's Steve. Like, we all know it, and we're all kind of laughing that's Steve on the TV. And it was fun after the episode was done that I was discussing. I actually pointed out, in the episode Steve did, and everyone knew exactly what I was talking about, because we all saw the same episode. It was like, well, that's Steve on, yeah. Steve is my Blue's Clues, house owner. So that is, but no,
yeah.
Josh, that's the name. Man.
All right, question 3. Put a clock in your butt, put a big rock in your butt. This memorable couplet is one of many similar lyrics featured in the hip-hop song Boogie in Your Butt, which peaked at number 56 on the Billboard R&B chart in 1982. Name the performer of this song who would go on to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1996.
All right. So I am going to assume in my heart that this musician would receive more acclamation in another form of the media arts. I have to assume this person did not have 3 platinum selling albums back to back to back and went on world tours for doing music. I have to assume. And so I'm assuming this is going to be someone that had a song career and then changed into probably acting of some variety. I have 2 names here. The only names I have And I'm trying to like put the timeline of when they would have had musical success. There's the two that's coming to mind. Either might be right. There's Eddie Murphy and there's Bruce Willis, who are certainly two musicians who had hits, who had music, and would later go find fame. Well, Eddie Murphy was still like he did his music after he got famous because he got it on SNL and then he did music and then he did more stand up and acting. And then Bruce Willis, I think, did music and then basically transitioned straight into acting full time. And I don't really have 82. I feel like feels kind of right. I'm trying to think like when the timeline of these movies would have been of like, well, I feel like that would have been right after. That would have been right after. That feels like Eddie Murphy. It seems like Eddie Murphy would have been. When was the SNL days? He would have done like 79 to like 81 or so, and then that would have been like 82. And then he's been on doing other things. And I don't know when Bruce Willis was boy banding ish. I don't have that. Both of them could have received a star in '96. They both would have had, extreme success. Both of those two people. I don't have any other guesses here. I am going to guess Eddie Murphy is the poet of those words. My guess is Eddie Murphy.
That is correct.
That is ultra exciting.
Congratulations.
Well, didn't he have like a big song? Didn't he have like
the famous song from the same album was "Party All the Time"?
Yes, that's the. I was kind of like, I know there's a different song Eddie Murphy's known for, and it's not the one you said, and that made me. I was like, oh, maybe there's. I did not have the year, but that was. I'm very relieved that Eddie Murphy was right there. That is.
I have a feeling there's a reason he shouldn't be known for the song that David just quoted.
Is there other parts of that song that aren't the putting clocks up butts? That is.
That's the entire song.
Oh, wow.
It's like 60 couplets that are all like that.
It's the opposite of being too sexy for things. Instead of listing things you're too sexy for, it's listing things you can put up a butt. Is the what the plot of that song is, which is.
Here's another couplet. Put some dust up your butt. It's a must up your butt.
That's okay. There you go. That is
call it up on Spotify. It's so awful you can't believe it until you hear it yourself.
That sounds improbable how bad that is, but I'm excited that I'm gonna take my credit on that. That's good. Whew, what a relief. Eddie Murphy. That is not knowledge I have, but I'm glad that the timeline worked out. So yes, the same as his other Party All the Time. That's great. I'm relieved. That's exciting.
All right, question number 4. What module attached to the Cassini space probe separated on Christmas of 2004 and successfully parachuted to the surface of Titan?
Yeah. All right. So I have a secret suspicion it's the first thing to land on a moon that is the first thing to land on a moon, basically, that's not our own moon. I think one of the Jovian or Saturn moons have been landed on. Titan is one of Saturn's moons. And Cassini also confirms it is Saturn. The Cassini family did a lot of Saturn research, and the Cassini division is the gap of the rings of Saturn. So it's going to be the name of a thing on Cassini that landed on Titan. And I want it to have a name in the Saturn, because they all, like, Messenger was the name of like a thing that went around Mercury, which is appropriate for Mercury. So I want it to be a name associated with Saturn. And I've been trying to think what this could or might be, and I haven't really found anything in my heart that feels ultra good. Man, I don't have a lot here, and I don't really know. I'm going to actually no. I had something that I lost it. I'm still going to go with that. In fact, 'cause I thought maybe Cronus kind of could be right. That's the other that's Saturn's alternate name in a different part of Europe. I know Galileo is the name of a thing that went towards that neck of the woods. I don't know if Galileo is right, but that feels like the name of a thing that would have done research on other places. And I'm going to say Galileo's my guess. Might not be right, but I'm going to say Galileo.
It is not.
Okay.
The answer is Huygens, Huygens.
Oh, I thought named after the scientist, and I didn't have any strong reason to suspect that, and I went with more of a noun. I mean, I guess that's a.
I actually only recently watched the 3-4 episode series of Nova from last season that focused on the planets, and it talked a lot about Cassini's missions. And I really regret not following up David's question with some question about Uranus.
There you go. That's oh man, Huygens. Yeah, he's certainly a guy that did good things around the neck of the woods, and but that is certainly a famous guy, no doubt there. I will very good question. That's good astronomy space knowledge there. And that is it's not my
All right. Question number 5. What South Carolina school was founded in 1869 by missionaries seeking to help freed slaves find a quality education?
So I've been trying to think about this. There's not a lot of hints in the question. The year is probably one of the biggest hints, and of course it was built right after the Civil War. It makes me want to think it's a HBCU located in the state of South Carolina. I think a number of South Carolina universities are they were founded for they were like seminary schools and teaching things like that. And so I've been trying to weigh these options. I've always said it. This would be like a Newberry question stuck somewhere in the set. You'll get 3 shots. And I was like, Newberry could very well be the right answer. And it was like, why wouldn't you? That's you got to do home cooking every now and then. So I'm trying to rule against Newberry, honestly. Newberry is a default, and I want to find a different answer that's not Newberry. Just because y'all are employed by it, I don't want to say that's the right answer. I'm trying to think founding of years. It's old. 1869 is 150 years or so. But it was 150 last year.
Yeah.
So So I'm trying to think what I don't really know the founding year of knowing a year of a founding. Yeah. So I'm trying to debate between these old schools, and I don't know what is the best choice. And I don't want to say Newberry. I really don't want to say Newberry because I know it's the obvious. That's the obvious question. And I'm just trying to think. I mean, there's tons of, Allen, Bennett, Claflin, SC State. I like SC State. I don't know when it was founded. I don't really know when any of these schools were founded. But I think Newberry is founded as a Presbyterian school. I don't really know of it being founded with a Freedmen's Bureau ideology when it was founded. I mean, it is a Presbyterian school. I have to assume it was Presbyterian roots as well when it was not so much so I don't want to say Newberry. I'm going to guess. I want it to be a historic HBCU or in that demographic. I'm going to guess South Carolina State University is going to be my guess.
So I think I like your struggle with the date. I mean, 1869 is a long time ago and most of us don't pay attention to dates, I don't think.
I know I know when mine was founded. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, right. Well, of course, yes. But I think your main clue here is it was missionaries. And so,
Is it missionaries? Oh, I missed that. So
Yeah.
it would have been a religious bringing. So maybe it is Newberry. Is it still Newberry? Is the answer Newberry?
it is not Newberry.
Okay, so I'm okay. But what?
But you're very close with South Carolina State.
So I know Claflin's also in Orangeburg. Is it?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
Ding, ding,
man.
ding, ding, ding.
Claflin. That is yeah, I did not really know that bit of it. I knew when I said that is I knew I feel like South Carolina State is I think it's a pretty older university. Like it's been around. I don't think it's like
But I think it's always been a state institution, or if it hasn't been, it was taken over very early on as an alternative. Yeah.
Got you. And no, when these 5 questions were read, the only one I felt even confident on was Pez. The other 4 were like, we're gonna find out what gets right there. And so I'm scared what question number what's the third SC college question gonna be if Claflin's number 2? That is that's a high mark right there. So I will take the full credits for 1 and 3, and I will take half on Claflin. I will say getting rid of the second half there. I'll take half on that. So and then with 2.5. So right now it is we both have earned 7.5 out of 10, which is a very good score based on how nonsensical these questions are. So there we go. So here we go. Let us go to y'all's last.
For the viewers, before we move any further, that Newberry College is an ELCA Lutheran Church supported school, not Presbyterian. You're thinking of Presbyterian College.
Oh, that's a Presbyterian for y'all? Oh, Lutheran, not Presbyterian. That's right. Exactly. PC, in fact, is Presbyterian College. That is why the name of the religion is in the name of the school, which makes it easy to remember. Also, anything with Methodist is in the name as well. It makes probably a Methodist school as well. That's right. It is Lutheran. There you go. Sorry about that. So
no, just my Lutheran roots coming out.
No, sure. There you go. That's right. So here we go. The last set of 5. Very best of luck. Number 1 is what job, defined as a purchasing agent for a law court, delivers the penultimate Canterbury tale? The tale itself describes Phoebus receiving info from a white crow about his cheating wife. Number 2, what painter was born in Amersfoort in 1872 and died in Manhattan in 1944? And that's Amersfoort, Amersfoort, in 1872, and died in Manhattan in 1944. Number 3, of the 12 original leaders in Civilization 1, which one was born first in 1810 BC? And which one died most recently in 1976 AD? That is number 3. Number 4, the 7 Sisters refers to a group of 7 magazines aimed at women in the 20th century. The only 3 of those 7 that are still publishing are Better Homes and Gardens, Good Housekeeping, and what other magazine originally published in 1937 by A&P to promote recipes and meals? And number 5 is during his lifetime, Henry VIII ran into some popes. What is the sum of the regnal numbers of these popes? And you can do a quick math here. The 3 are the one who allowed Henry to marry Catherine of Aragon in 1503, the one who rewarded Henry with the title Defender of the Faith in 1521, and the one who refused to annul Henry's marriage with Catherine of Aragon in 1527. Those are the 3 parts. And I will say, it's not a trick question. These are 3 different popes in question. They're not all the same person. And it's like, oh, look at that. It's just the same number times 3. But those are the 5 questions there. The difficulty's been ramped up. So here we go. Number 1 in this set. Number 1 is what job defined as a purchasing agent for a law court, delivers the penultimate Canterbury tale. The tale itself describes Phoebus receiving info from a white crow about his cheating wife. That is number 1.
Wow. Okay. Canterbury Tales. So that's not the Miller's Tale. I'm just trying to think of the names of who tells the Canterbury Tales. There's the Pardoner's Tale.
Not the wife of that.
It's not the Wife of Bath. Oh man.
Nun's priest.
It's not the Nun's Priest. Oh mercy. Wow, to be a sophomore in college again. All right, so the ones that I've named so far, the only one it could conceivably be is the Pardoner. I don't know what the heck a Pardoner is. Unless it's some kind of Friar's Tale, no.
Executioner's tale? That's one of them, right?
Say that again.
Executioner?
Is that one?
Thought so.
Hmm.
There are Parsons' Tale.
There's a Parsons Tale, yeah. Could that be what the if it's executioner, it could be executioner in some sense other than actually killing people?
Yeah. Maybe.
Man.
All I know is the first 2. That's useless. It's the penultimate, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
What do we think, team? The stuff we've disgorged.
The only thing I like is partner, since we don't know what that is.
Unless it's exactly what it sounds like.
Partner relates to law. He says the law's clerk. Something like that. What was that part of the question? Something about the law, the
Yeah.
clerk?
What job defined as a purchasing agent for a law court delivers the penultimate Canterbury tale?
Wow.
So
There's not a flunky's tale.
no.
That's a Miller.
No.
All right, team. Let's wave the white flag. What are we going to say?
You're up. Go
I
for
think
it.
this is you, David.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll say crap. Executioner.
Executioner is your guess. It is not the executioner, and I can put you out of your misery that none of the things you named is the right answer, so you didn't have it and walked away from it.
What's the first one?
Yeah, as you know, the Canterbury Tales has a bunch of random 500-year-old occupations that are owned by some of the people. Somebody's a Reeve, whatever that is. Somebody's a Franklin, whatever that is. This other one is one of those made-up job titles that people might only know from the Canterbury Tales. The first letter is M.
M?
M. And it still might not even help.
No.
So not a Miller.
No, Miller is one. There is a Miller, but it's not.
That's the second one.
Yeah.
That's one of the 2 I've got.
Oh, and I know the plot of that one.
Yeah, that one's a much more red one than this one. This is the Manciple is the name of this guy. The Manciple Tale. Yeah.
I'm confident that my Chaucer professor did not make me read that one.
No, I mean, I assume you'd only read that for the completion 100% goal of having read them all, as opposed to the highlights. People read like the prologue and they read like up to 4 of the Canterbury Tales. They don't read the people that the middle and the fields are researching there. But Manciple is the job in question there. I don't know if there are municipals today, or they have a different name. I don't know if municipals ever used by the U.S. government for, courthouse purchasing agents, So there you go. Municipal sale. Number
Wow.
2, yeah. What painter was born in Amersfoort in 1872 and died in Manhattan in 1944?
Somebody
Wow, folks.
somebody on my team want to tell me where that first city is located?
Sounds Dutch.
I was going to say Netherlands, and I'm wondering if Manhattan isn't Netherlands as well.
I will say Manhattan is New York, the borough of New York. That is not a trick there. Manhattan is New York. So
Amersfoort.
Wow, guys, too much dead space.
there's no editing here. We just play it live.
Yeah, who's the? No, that's not right. Never mind.
Okay. Dutch artist, 1944. So he dies during the war, but he's 72. Wow. Aaron, you got anything?
Do not.
Would he be a cubist?
Could be. A Dutch cubist?
What made you say that, Timothy?
Well, I'm just thinking the time period. Dutch cubist doesn't really make sense to me, but I'm just thinking the time period. What else? So he's coming of age during.
Hi, Annette.
coming of age during Impressionism, but 1944 seems, or even let's say 1934 seems awful late in a career to start embracing Salvador Dali's way of doing things. What's that called?
Surrealism.
Surrealism. So I'm struggling.
So is it somebody like, I don't know, Mondrian? Where's he from?
I guess Mondrian. I'm not sure where he's from. Aaron, you've been to a lot of museums. Help us out here.
Only places that mom and dad have taken me.
Oh, shifting the blame, I see. Very good. Solid tactic here.
You know what? I've gone to many of them with your folks too, so I get it.
There you go. All right. What y'all want to guess here?
Anybody got anything?
I'm nada.
All right, we will say Mondrian.
All right. So guessing Mondrian here. So Amersfoort is Dutch, as you might have guessed, with the F-O-O-R-T ending there, and was born in the Netherlands and would eventually migrate to the United States, that's where Manhattan would be located. And in 1941, this artist created his most famous artwork, whose title includes a Manhattan landmark. He created the famous painting Broadway Boogie Woogie, featuring white, red, yellow, and blue. And Piet Mondrian is the artist in question here.
All right.
That is the exact right answer. Very well done. That is it.
Wow.
Well
Wow.
guessed. Yes, he is a Dutch.
Teamwork.
Very good. And but no, the Dutch painter who did, like I said, was inspired by America, and that was like I said, and then he died in Manhattan 3 years after his painting did, after he created Broadway Boogie Woogie. So very well done. Good
Yay.
art knowledge there. Very well done. Let's see. Riding that wave into number 3 is, of the 12 original leaders in Civilization 1, which one was born first in 1810 BC, and which one died most recently in 1976 AD? This is
I
also,
know.
it's basically a history question as well, if you know, with the dates. So
I've only played Civ 6, which has what feels like 3 times that many rulers. The
yeah,
oldest I can think of, I'm pretty sure is in Civ 6, is Gilgamesh.
This
What
is a video game.
does anyone? The Civ is right, but I can't even place how long ago Gilgamesh would have been. I feel like Gilgamesh was almost even earlier.
Gilgamesh. Okay, so I'm teaching ancient history right now, and Gilgamesh is before Hammurabi, and Hammurabi is in the 1700s BC.
That works.
Well, we can go with that then, unless there's another. That's the oldest I can think of, at least that from in the Civ that I've played.
It's 1976 Mao. That's the only person I know of. Of course, I've never played the game.
I can't place Mao in Civ, but it's completely possible.
And that's roughly the right time period for when he died. So I would go with Mao in 1976. And I personally, I'm okay. I think Gilgamesh was even far earlier, but there's nothing.
Yeah, I would put Gilgamesh before 2000.
Yeah.
I'm not positive. I'm trying to think of who else is really old in the game, but I can't get that far back. Like Dido's in the game later on, but she's after 1810. Right? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's well after that.
Um,
Who led historically, what's the kingdom? Scythia? Another woman?
yeah, but the problem with Scythia's they're a bunch of nomads more than anything.
They're in the game though.
Yeah. Okay. So I've never played the game, so I don't know.
All right. I know they're in the game. I don't know if they're in Civ 1, but they're in Civ 6. But I can't think of her name.
I'd go with Gilgamesh just for the.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
So let's do Gilgamesh and Mao.
going with Gilgamesh and Mao, your guesses there. So
Yeah.
as you said, Civ has had a bunch of different leaders over time. Civ 1 was the original 12 they had. I think, like I said, now there's, Civ 4, Civ 5, Civ 6 have added so many more to the roster of leaders there. Civ 1's most famous leader by far is Gandhi, who certainly is the most famous figure of Civ 1. Notably, he became more warlike with due to a programming bug of adding one more each time, and it made Gandhi famously the war-hungry empire leader there. So the second most recent ruler is of the Russian Empire, Stalin, who died in 1953, and the original set of 12, and the most recent of 1976 is Chinese emperor, or the leader of the Chinese Empire, Mao Zedong is the right answer there. So going on the other side here is the second and most recent. There's only 3 BC rulers. The most recent of those is Alexander the Great, who was more of the 300s BC. The second most recent in the original Civ 1 game, the second oldest is Ramses II, who was 1303 BC. And the oldest is not Gilgamesh. I did not know Gilgamesh was in Civ 6. That very well may be the case, but that is not. And I think you're right. He is like but Gilgamesh was of the Babylonian persuasion, and the ruler of this empire is also a Babylonian leader, and it is Hammurabi is the answer there. So Hammurabi was the, you're right, 1700 BC is exactly the right time, and that was when he lived with both of his eyes, for one was taken out. And but Hammurabi was that. So I give you, so you get 1.5 on all that. So there you go.
Too kind.
Yeah, exactly. You certainly.
Very kind on that one.
Let's see. But that's exactly. But you had it all right. Hammurabi was right. You just went the wrong way the last moment there. But very well reasoned all out there. I don't have the full list of the 12, but yeah, those were the original 12, part of the original 12 set. I think some have played other games, but not, those are the original 12. Number 4 was what the Seven Sisters magazines. The only 3 that are still publishing are Better Homes and Gardens, Good Housekeeping, and What Other magazine, originally published in 1937 by A&P to promote recipes and meals.
I'm thinking it's team. I'm thinking it's Ladies' Home Journal. It's similar to those others, and I think it's still published. And 1930 seems about right for a founding.
Do you know much
The
about
one that had popped in my head was Family Circle.
Oh.
Okay, so I wrote down.
I don't think it's published anymore. So
Okay.
I like your Good Housekeeping.
And I wrote down,
Whatever
in
you
the
say.
same vein of Family Circle, I wrote down Women's Day. And I don't know much about the content of Ladies' Home Journal. I mean, I don't know about the content of the other 2, other than my mother bought them all the time. But
My mother did too, yes.
I'm not sure about the content of Ladies' Home Journal.
My main argument for Ladies' Home Journal is I think it's still published. I can't remember the last time I saw a copy of Women's Day or Family Circle.
I'm good with that.
And Home would probably have originated with recipes and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
We good?
I'm good.
All right. We're going to say Ladies' Home Journal.
Ladies' Home Journal. So, Ladies' Home Journal was a Seven Sisters participant. However, its final issue was in 2016. It is not still on the list. So what would be your second guess after Ladies' Home Journal?
So we got Family Circle, and what was the other one?
Women's Day.
I go with Women's Day.
Yeah.
And
Women's
it is Woman's Day, not Women's Day. It is with an A. But Woman's Day is the correct answer to that question. It is still published, and Woman's Day, it was basically like a supermarket magazine that's A&P was doing recipes. Family Circle, also a entry of the Seven Sisters. Last edition was in 2019, and part of the culling of American magazines, and so it was. There's only 3 left, and I think Woman's Day probably is the least well known of Better Homes and Gardens and Good Housekeeping, certainly. And there's not a lot of magazines. I mean, it is a magazine that has existed for about 100 years, but it's not. It's not like it didn't break. I mean, it's not like Good Housekeeping, for example. For Women's Day, certainly the
Right.
3 out of the 3, but it is still around there. So yeah, a good magazines question, and I think I've had this sitting around for a while for Bulldog, but it's very hard. This is tough magazine trivia here, and magazine trivia gets harder by the month, pretty much. There's people are not even aware what magazines even are, but very well done. Half credit on all that. Very good job on Women's Day there. And number 5 is our math question to round it out was Henry VIII ran into some popes, and what is the sum of the regnal numbers of these popes? The one who allowed Henry to marry Catherine of Aragon in 1503, the one who rewarded Henry with the title Defender of the Faith in 1521, and the one who refused to annul Henry's marriage with Catherine of Aragon in 1527. So certainly the hardest of your specialty subject matter here. So and semi-guessable too. It's just three numbers added together, so it's not it's not gonna be like 528, for example. There. So, all right. So what popes have you identified? You think?
Well, I've actually had a complete brain fade on it. I think there's a Leo in there, but I don't know. Kevin, any clues?
No.
I see how this works. Aaron?
Yeah.
I mean, I can name a number if it comes to that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. No, that very good question. Very hard.
Intended to be.
There's a Leo. There's a Paul. I think there's a Leo. There's a Paul. I'm pretty sure as well. And someone who's just
Either of those?
Huh?
Pius, Innocent, either of those guys in the mix?
Boy, that's a toughie.
Mm.
But then you have to come up with a number, and that's the whole problem. So at this point, I would just be guessing, throwing out some numbers. Somehow, I think if you add all three up, it's around 18. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Going with 18?
Yeah. Anybody else want to throw a number out?
I'm fairly certain 18 is correct.
I'm fairly certain it's not, but that's all right.
That is strong confidence there. So let us go over the three popes in question here with your guess. So the first one is the one who I will say the names of the three popes in order are Julius, Leo, and Clement. Does that narrow anything down for you if you want to think
It's
about it?
Clement the seventh, I think. Leo the ninth, 7, 9. Who was the first one?
Julius.
Oh God. I'm gonna still stick with 18. That's semi-decent number.
Sure. So the first one is the one that allowed Henry to marry Catherine of Aragon. This is Julius II, who certainly is probably most well known for commissioning Michelangelo to do artworks for him. The famous Tomb of Julius is designed by Michelangelo, but that is that art-giving pope there, number 2. The second one, the one that gave Henry the title Defender of the Faith, a thing he was very proud of for all of his things. That was Leo X is the pope in question there. And as you correctly identified, Clement VII is the one that would not annul the marriage between the two. So it is 2 plus 10 plus 7. It is 19, which is all very close. I was like, figuring that the average pope number is about 6, that seems right. Like 18 is a very, very solid guess. I was like, you might just guess 19. And 18, I was like, God, that is razor thin close. And you had like all the right numbers there. And 2 and 10 and 7. But yeah, I knew that was a ultra hard question, and not spotting you the names of the three popes as well, having to know
that didn't help either.
the specific. You had to know the exact details of the three popes there. Certainly 3 well-known moments in his life, but there's only one pope these were basically 3 consecutive popes. There's like an Adrian III or so, I think, the research I did, that was, it looked like for like a year. Well, like 1 year between 2 of these popes. But certainly, they never, for far as I can tell, did not deal with Henry VIII while he was pope. So the other 3 had to deal with him at different points of their lives. But 19 is the right answer there. But extremely, extremely well done on that. So be proud of your 18 there. That was extremely well done. Good Clement VII knowledge there.
So loser.
But you got, I will say you have 2 points in all that. Piet Mondrian, the full point, and then half of the magazine and the Civ leader. So I'll give you 2 on all that. So that is extremely well. Like I said, this is the equivalent of shooting half-court shots. If anything goes in, it's just jump up take your $100,000 check and be happy. Like, oh my God, I hit the half court shot. So, and I'm truly scared what y'all might have for me, and I am ready for the tables to be turned. So let's go with the
All right.
last set of 5 questions for tonight before we go to our final. So here we go. Let's see what
All
y'all
right.
have for me.
This is a long one. All right. Number 1, organisms such as Meganora, which is a dragonfly-like insect with a 30-inch wingspan, and Arthroplura, which is an 8.5-foot-long millipede, the largest ever known land invertebrate, thrives during this geologic period due to the presence of swampy forests and a high atmospheric oxygen content of 35%. What is this geologic period? Beginning 359 million years ago, whose name is derived from the Latin for coal bearing.
Angie.
I think it's so
Oh, God, did it again. I was
Oh,
not going to put
Oh
this
for
time.
3. 0 for 3 on being recognized at the right time.
I'm just waiting to hear what Chris has to say. And yeah.
Silence.
Okay. Here we go. Sharing weight, touch, and movement awareness are fundamental to a form of dancing that has been developing internationally since 1972. This dance involves exploring the relationship of one's body to other bodies. What is this dance form created by experimental dancer and choreographer Steve Paxton?
Number 3, what is the only country in the world whose name is spelled by letters that appear in either alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order?
Can you repeat that real quick? I just want to make sure I get that right.
Okay. What is the only country in the world whose name is spelled by letters that appear in either alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order?
Okay.
And number 4, in the 2020 Best Regional Universities South, U.S. News and World Report named the Citadel number 2. What other South Carolina school is in the top 10 of that same list?
And our final question. The apocryphal books of the Bible include a series of 3 additions to the book of Daniel. Name 2 of the 3.
All right. So those are the 5 questions. So if you want to take a moment, pause it on that, and we will start back up from the top. So here we go. Number 1 on
All
this
right.
set.
Number 1, organisms such as Meganora, which is a dragonfly-like insect with a 30-inch wingspan, and Arthroplura, which is an 8.5-foot-long millipede, the largest ever known land invertebrate, thrives during this geologic period due to the presence of swampy forests and a high atmospheric oxygen content of 35%. What is this geologic period? Beginning 359 million years ago, whose name is derived from Latin for coal bearing.
I'm very relieved we started out with this one on the set of 5, similar to how Pez in round 2. I believe this geologic period is made up of the Mississippian and Pennsylvania epochs, and I believe this is the Carboniferous period.
Correct. Very good.
I am, yes, that was a good way to start round 3. And that was, that is, I didn't know it was because like coal deposits, they basically had things grew up and they died and they made large pits, and then they made so much air, and it was the highest oxygen point ever in Earth. And apparently animals could breathe that oxygen so well, they got bigger, which is incredible.
They sure did.
Yeah, which is wild, that you could have dragonflies of that size. And but no, Carboniferous period, geology knowledge for the win. So I'm taking, that's a relief. The other 4 up for grabs, and here we go, going to number 2 right now. So
All right, number 2, sharing weight, touch, and movement awareness are fundamental to a form of dancing that has been developing internationally since 1972. This dance involves exploring the relationship of one's body to other bodies. What is this dance form created by experimental dancer and choreographer Steve Paxton?
Obviously, it's the waggle dance, as we established. And that's clearly what it must be. A dance question. This sounds like a real legit dance question as well, not as I don't think this involves insects. Sharing weight is what you said. Sharing weight, touch, and movement. Awareness was the 3 parts there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I've been trying to see if I could acronym them in some capacity, because that sounds very acronymic as like portions of the name. 1972. This is not a thing I'm fully I don't really have here, a dance style. And I'm looking at the names and trying to like rearrange them, and I don't really have much here. I don't really have a good guess. See, 1972 makes me sound like it's recent, and I don't really have. I don't have a lot here, and the only guess I have, and it might be, I mean, it's a thing that's not, ballrooms of the 19th century. I'm going to guess on almost nothing jazzercise, only because I know that is a form of dancing, and I don't really have anything else. I'm going to go with jazzercise as my answer.
That is incorrect.
That's fair. That's all very fair.
And it's possible you've never heard of it, although I do know that there is a group that gathers in Columbia
Okay.
Sunday mornings to practice this. I saw it on Meetup once. But the correct answer is contact improv or contact improvisation. Something Aaron and I have both been practitioners of in the past.
Okay. So it's just like, how exactly is it dance? How is it, what is it, how do you do it?
Show us your moves, guys.
That's right.
Show us your moves. Get up and dance.
Well, but see, Aaron and I aren't in the same frame or even on the same sides of the country. But it is very much that you have to have at least 2 dancers together, because it's exploring the relationship of one body to other body. And it is all part of exploring those 3 different fundamentals of it. Do you remember how to share weight? Can you share weight with me? I mean, of sharing weight and moving, but also finding different ways in which to touch. It's very much an improvisational thing that is not scripted.
Right.
That you and another dancer or dancers explore and create together. Aaron, do you have anything to add to that explanation?
Summed it up pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much to watch. I mean,
Sure.
it's really a dance form that was designed purely for practicing rather than demonstrating.
Like exercise. Exercise is not meant to be viewed on YouTube.
Right.
It is exclusively members doing it to do it.
Yeah.
But we have seen performances.
Yeah,
Yes.
That sounds absolutely legit.
I would argue, but yeah.
Yeah.
What, Aaron?
They're not the best performances.
Yeah.
I would argue. But, yeah.
Sure.
All right, question number 3. What is the only country in the world whose name is spelled by letters that appear in either alphabetical order or reverse alphabetical order?
See, this is nonsense. I don't just know this. This seems like a thing I would just know. I'm mad. The last game ended with a wordplay countries question. Another thing that is one of those I should just know. I don't know why I don't just know this. I am almost positive it is not spelled forward. I know a lot of words you spell forward, like chintz or 40, famously number 40, F-O-R-T-Y, is the only number you can spell forwards like that. So I believe it has to be I believe it must be spelled backwards. And I don't like that I don't know this. This is really getting to me that I don't just have this. And I've been secretly delaying a little bit as I kind of go through the choices of what it could be. And I haven't found it yet, and I'm mad about that. And I mean, it's one of those. I'm gonna give me about another 45 seconds, and then if I don't, I might need y'all give me a continent, if that might be the way to.
I keep looking off to the right because I have a world map on the wall, and I'm actually looking for the answer myself.
Oh.
Because at least David never texted the rest of us this one, so
I'm pretty much within a globe or map at any point in my life. I mean, there's a globe there, a book of Atlas is there. I got some Caribbean islands over there on the wall. I mean, I got maps, to no end, and I'm just I want this to be right. I don't want to miss this. This is like, God.
We can do 4 and 5 first if you want.
You know what? I want that. I want to pause. I really want to get this. Let's go to 4, and then we'll come back to it. So, all right.
All right.
The third one
4.
last.
Okay. Number 4 is in the 2020 Best Regional Universities South, U.S. News and World Report named the Citadel number 2. What other South Carolina school is in the top 10 of that same list?
I probably should have brushed up on U.S. News and World Report ratings for these things. This is a very good way to look at SC colleges. Could this be a Newberry question? I when it comes to that U.S. News and World Report, the college I have in mind often, I think I have it coming up as it being a popular school for this thing. I don't know why they love it so much. I'm sure it's a fine school. The answer I'm going to guess is Wofford. I think they are often highly ranked for this kind of thing. Not any reason why. I think I've just seen that before, but I'm going to guess Wofford as my guess.
Incorrect. It is College of Charleston.
Sure. That's Citadel's nearby neighbor.
Yeah.
But certainly a school. Yeah. I've always heard like Wofford is like a school that kind of like does well with this for some reason, but I didn't like I said, I don't really know how all the ratings work and how they rank things, but no, I will COC. There you go.
All right.
My first cousin graduated from there.
Timothy, you want to do number 5?
Number 5. The Apocryphal books of the Bible include a series of 3 additions to the book of Daniel. Name 2 of the 3.
Sure. Yeah, I've seen these before. I mean, I know, like, I'm pretty good at the 66 canonical, I was raised Methodist, so we didn't exactly have the fold out Apocrypha books. That isn't a thing. And I don't really have like good guesses here of what even might be right. Like I think they're all named after people, but I don't really have that. I don't really know the names of the Apocrypha. I mean, I can't even name the 3 people that go in the fire, which is in the book of Daniel. Those 3 people,
Meshach.
Yeah, Meshach.
And Abednego.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the 3 guys, and I believe
Meshach and Abednego.
There you go. That's not a thing we ever learned in Sunday school. But I know that is the book of Daniel. Is a wide. I'm going to guess 2 names. I'm just gonna name 2 names.
Go for it.
I don't have anything here. I'm gonna say Belshazzar, and I'm going to say Maccabee. Those are my 2. Belshazzar is whose feast is interpreted by Daniel, and Maccabee, I believe. I mean, it's more. I believe. I mean, it is I believe they're associated with Judaism, but I feel like there's an Apocrypha book named after the Maccabees, but I don't have anything for that. But I'm going to say Belshazzar and Maccabee on nothing, and that is my guess.
All right, so kudos to you for Maccabee, even though it's not part of the right answer.
Oh, man.
Sorry, it is in the Apocrypha. So
that is extreme knowledge on my part that I had that. I'm excited.
Yeah, sometimes it's referred to as Esdras or Second Esdras or something like that. And Belshazzar, if you took off the Shazar, Bel is part of one of these. So there are three specifically. One of my all-time favorites is called Bel and the Dragon, and it's a segment of Daniel confronting the king about worshiping an idol. Yada yada yada. I'll prove you it's wrong. There's Susanna. The only way to get that one, I think, is to remember, oh, Susanna. Yeah. And which is how I remember it. And the other one is much too long to actually try to remember, but it's called the Prayer of Azariah and the Song of the Jews. So those are the three.
Yeah, I think I've seen Bel and the Dragon. That is a name I've seen that before. I would not have. I knew one, I think it was a phrase, but I didn't really have that. Bel and the Dragon is not a guessable thing. If you had to just put words together, you had to know that. It wasn't a.
So what's interesting is Bel is the idol, and probably from a historical point of view, Bel is the equivalent of the Babylonian god Marduk.
Okay.
And then the dragon, no one's really quite certain, but more than likely the dragon implies it's a form of a serpent that Babylonians, for whatever reason, or Persians were worshiping. Again, it's probably not true, but nevertheless, there's the story.
Right.
But that's an ancient tie-in to the whole idea of serpents representing the devil, right?
Gotcha.
So
that is that's good. That was good apocryphal knowledge that I did not have. That is very excellent.
You have that. I apologize.
No, yeah, and now we go back to the countries, and I want another 30 seconds before I am mad about this. I swear I've been trying to I want it to be a short. It's got to be like 5 or 6 letters. It can't be longer than that. It has to be something like that. It can't be really much longer than that length of name. And the problem is many names have like an A in the middle, and obviously you can't have an A in the middle of the name. You can have it at the end, but you can't have it at the middle, which and it's like just coming up with the names. I think I went through a lot. I think I went through most of the 5-letter country names because I can eliminate. I want to get this. I'm trying to, and I'm not sure I have it. I'm going to go 1. It's Tonga. That's it. It is Tonga backwards. Oh, God. Oh, thank God. I found it. I'm so relieved. The Holy Kingdom of Tonga is that there. Whoo, what a relief it is. That is, yep. There we go. Found it. I will. Good deal. Fantastic. I did not know that about Tonga. That is an extremely good nugget that I've never heard. That is, there you go. I will, found it. Whew, what a relief. That's a good way to end that little setup. I'm glad I took that for a quick pause on that. So I believe I get Carboniferous and Tonga, and the other 3 were completely stumped. So I will take 2 more points on that. So right now, before we go to our last question, we both have earned 9 points on each other's set, which is a extremely good score. We wrote some damn difficult questions. That is all very, very good. And so right now we are in a sense tied, but I will read out one more question. This is y'all are episode 3, and episode 2 the guest was Andrew Simmons, the previous host of British Bulldog, and also a good friend of all of ours. So the final question that he has written for us, let's see. The question goes, since it was first published in 1964, I'm reading out for everybody here, which supermodel has graced the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue on the most number of occasions with 5 cover appearances between 86 and 06? And so I think I actually know this one. I'm pretty sure I have my answer. I have not seen the answer yet. But y'all can, I'll lock in so y'all can discuss what y'all might think here.
Are there only athletes on that cover, or do they ever get celebrities?
No, they do a swimsuit.
Yeah, it's supermodel in the question. So.
Well,
Yeah.
so in 86, it was just models. They've had guest athletes more recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Crawford?
So
Crawford or is it Kathy Ireland?
I was going to say Kathy Ireland.
That would be my guess.
Cindy Crawford or Kathy Ireland seems possible. Christy Brinkley is too early. My instinct is Kathy Ireland.
I agree.
I have no instinct on this.
Yeah. This is not I am not strong in this. Is 86 was before my time, and this has certainly been out of date for a while. But
In.
no, I think the reason I know this is I had a round at River Rat I was very proud of. It was a round where every answer began with the name of a magazine. That was like,
Oh, Elle Macpherson.
I think it's Elle Macpherson. I believe I think I used that fact in the question. And it was a very good round that had Jet Propulsion Laboratory was an answer to a question because Jet is also a magazine. And so I think it is Elle Macpherson. So the answer is, in fact, Elle Macpherson. So I'm going to take my credit on that. He has a few notes on here. Honorable mentions. It looks like there are 5 women that have 3 appearances. Cheryl Teagues, Christy Brinkley was 79 through 81. It looks like Kathy Ireland, 89 through 94. Daniela Pestova has 95 through 06. And then Kate Upton, 12 through 17. Certainly the current Justin Verlander wife on that, who apparently is somewhat embroiled in the Astros nonsense as well, because she must have known that the Astros were hitting trash cans to signal pitches. She was in. I've said Kate Upton has been in on the Astros scandal. There's no way Justin Verlander doesn't come home and talk about how he was pitching, and does never talk about the the whole trash can debacle. So so I will take the 1 point on that. And so at the end of all this, I think our final score is I earned 10.5 and y'all earned 9.5. It is not. So hopefully you at home, did you score more than 10.5 on my set? Did you score more than 9.5 on their set? These were some good Lord difficult questions, and I thought that was all very, very well done. So, but thank you to Team Sockmonkey for coming on and playing the game. It is good seeing all of y'all. I know it has been almost 3 weeks to a month. I think it was the Wednesday that was first canceled. It was supposed to be the St. Patrick's Day themed questions. Right. And I have a full set of St. Patrick's Day that is just sitting. I'm not sure that's going to be my first set of questions when I come back. Zach suggests I just save them until we come back. I'm like, maybe not. Maybe they'll just stay in an archive ready to be released at some point at a very more Irish an Irish spring. But no, that is all very, very well done. So thank you all for playing the game. I hope you enjoyed at home. Please make sure to stay inside, wash your hands, take care. It's a very stressful time, but hopefully you are taking care of you and your kid. But thank you all so much, and everyone have a good night. So there we go.
Had fun.